Guess who's back? I can't really use that. But back again.
You can't use that at all, actually. I'm going to have to crop that out. I'm just going to be like, you can't use that.
Well, I kind of separated it, so it works.
No, all we'll hear is, you can't use that.
No. It's staying in. What? Did you have something to say? You looked at me real funny. You know what? Just cue the intro. Hello guys, it's Two Latin Brothers Podcast, also known as T.L.B.P. I'm Victor.
And I'm Adrian.
And we're back at it again with another vlog.
Okay, we're not filming.
We're filming.
We're recording.
We're recording.
I can't with you.
Yeah, I can never with myself either.
You can never with yourself either?
I can never with you either.
I'm so confused right now. What are you even talking about?
I don't know. What are you talking about? How was your week?
Look, my week?
Yeah.
It's been a really, slow week.
Has it?
Yeah. I've done absolutely nothing.
Of course you haven't.
I mean, I've done something, but I mean,
we've done things, but I've realized how busy my life actually is, because I actually made a schedule to from starting from Monday of what I do, and man, I need to take a nap. How am I don't drink coffee. I don't do none of that. What? When did this happen? When did I start getting busy? There's a pandemic. I'm supposed to be bored right of my life.
So in my case, I'm in the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
I have stuff to do, but then once I've done,
once you're done it, you just have nothing else to do with
exactly. It. So every now and then you'll come down and I'll be just staring at my laptop on YouTube or something.
Or you'll just be staring at the ceiling, one or the other.
No, usually it'll be on YouTube, and then you'll be like, so I'm done. I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? And you go, I don't know, what do you want to do? And I'll be like, I literally have nothing to do. I'm literally sitting here trying to burn time. What do you want from me?
You should have used that time to think about it.
It's one of those things.
Next time, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to be like, you want to do something? And then I want to hear an answer. I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't want to hear that. I want to be like, I want to go to a pool at minus 15 degrees.
You need help.
I'd do it. $50.
I wouldn't do it even for $100.
Okay, fine. I'll do it.
You do whatever you want.
I'll do it for you. I'll do the 50 and the 100. So I get 150.
I don't know.
It's like when people ask you for $1,000, would you go skydiving? I already want to go skydiving, so it'd just be a plus.
Well, Will Smith has this great story about it. How the first time he's that inner fear gets to you, and then how once you jump and you're because when you're looking down on an angle,
yeah,
when you're on the edge of the plane and you're standing,
yeah,
it's inner fear. You're well, no sane person should be doing this.
So then you jump.
And he's but then you jump, and when you look straight down, he's this inner bliss hits you, and he says you never felt so free, and he's and because of that, I've done it 17 more times.
Oh my god!
And then you're of course you have.
And the statistic of death rate goes higher. Statistically, every time he does it, he's giving more leeway to the possibility.
Yeah,
then again, some surgeries are less risky than going into a car.
I think I've told the story already. I'm not sure. I had an English teacher in grade 10 who that was her birthday present to her students. I mean, not to her students.
That's crazy.
To her kids.
Yeah.
When they turned in Canada, I believe it is. It's either 16 or 17. I can't remember.
I think it's 16.
You can legally you're legally allowed to sign
a waiver. Yeah.
Sign a waiver. So she gave her son that for his birthday, to go skydiving. And she says that the footage was just so funny because he jumped, he was strapped to another person.
Yeah.
And the guy jumped, so he's falling.
Oh, so he did a there and now place.
Yeah.
Because you can get training to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
And then if you want to do it that exact day, you do it with somebody.
Yeah. So he's falling, right?
Yeah.
And she's all I see, the whole footage of him falling is him looking down and crying, and you just see tears
just going up.
Oh, going up because he's falling, right? So he's falling pretty fast, but there's these tears falling, right? So he's just crying and crying and crying, and she's it's the funniest thing. She's watching that happen because he is literally just crying the whole way down until the parachute opens, and then he's laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm that's the greatest thing ever. I'm how many times have you done it? And she told us the story how her dad had a skydiving company. They had the planes on. So she's I've done it hundreds of times. Yeah. And I was Oh, so you're one of those people. Those people who don't care about life, clearly. But yeah, she was saying how she's done it like hundreds of thousands of times probably by now. She's like, I used to like do like my own regiment in the weekends where we would like train people to do it by themselves. She's like, and I would go up there with them and jump with them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, every weekend, that was her job. I'm like,
to jump off a plane.
Yeah, I'm like, that's.
So what'd you do this weekend? I jumped off a plane.
I'm like, that's pretty.
What I want to try.
Let's see. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I'm not for that life.
Yeah, but what I want to try is a 0G plane. That's what I want to try. You go up in the plane.
Yeah.
And you're strapped. You're standing. There's no seats in the plane.
I know what a 0G plane.
I know, but I'm explaining it for the audience. Okay. So you're strapped onto this plane, of course, inside the plane, but there's no chairs in the plane. The airplane goes nose diving at certain velocities to basically give you a sense of what zero gravity feels like. And if you pay extra, you can get different forms of gravity. So you can get like what the gravity would feel like on the moon, what the gravity would feel like on Mars, what the gravity feel like on other places.
Yeah.
So like, I want to try that.
Well, what is it? I think it was Tom Cruise who did a movie where there's a scene where they're pummeling, like they're falling in a plane, like they're crashing back down to Earth.
Yeah.
And they filmed the scene in like zero gravity. Like it was like the scene was filmed in like 0G, and they're like saying how the technicality of trying to film that scene, because they only had like 2 to 3 runs of it because of how expensive it was to fly a plane up there, and they had to get
since you can't have you have to have the nose of the plane at a very specific angle, because if you go too far, it's instant nosedive.
No, I know. So that's the thing, right? But they were saying how it was so expensive because they also had to have film crew in there, and the film crew had to be like properly experienced strapped in, and the actors are in there like floating in this like cockpit of a plane, trying to make this like work, and they had like GoPros like mounted on all like the sides of it was this whole thing, and they were saying how it was crazy, but they're like, you know what's crazy is that the year after that movie came out, I think he did the next Mission Impossible movie when the guy was strapped to the outside of a plane when the plane took off. Like, what is this guy is trying to he's trying to find a way to die, or like
he wants to go with a bang.
Oh no! And then there's that horrible scene of him breaking his foot.
Oh yeah, jumping from building to building.
But he still completes the scene. You're just like, this guy.
He's very dedicated to his craft.
It's like, it's crazy because he
didn't break character. He still went for it. I know. He ran past the camera still.
I mean, like, a lot of people give Tom Cruise a lot of crap for being the same guy in every movie. Yeah. But like, I respect that. No, the guy broke his foot and finished the scene.
Like, after I would have broken my ankle, I probably would have let go of I would have died. I'd be like, man, I broke it hurts too much. I gotta feel my ankle, and then let go of the top of that building and fall and plummeted to my death.
No, that would have been me. On him, though.
No, I know they had straps, but they would have had to catch me. I would have been like, my ankle? I can't finish.
It was his ankle, it was his foot.
I don't care. I broke my foot ankle.
My foot ankle.
I broke my foot ankle.
No, so like,
I'm gonna need to go. I can't finish the scene.
And then like,
I need 6 months to recover. What is it,
the new movie that's coming out? The Top Gun, the sequel?
Oh yeah, Top Gun Maverick.
What is it? That movie. What is it? The other actors in those movies were saying how, like, they interviewed them and they were saying, like, Tom Cruise is crazy. And they're all like, what? They're like, yeah, because they had them actually flying in actual jets. Yeah. So they have, like, these see-through visors so you can see their faces. Yeah. When they're experiencing, like, the G-force.
I mean, he's done it already.
Oh, no, I know, but when they're experiencing, like, the G-force. Yeah. And a lot of, like, the younger cast members like, oh, we got this. This will be easy. I mean, this old guy can do it. Why can't we? This one guy was saying how, like, so 5 of us were like, we all took off, like, we were all on, like, in the planes, we're all sitting in the plane in the back seat. Yeah. And we're experiencing the G-force. No lie, half of us threw up. Like, I've been just experiencing the G-force for the first time. They told us it was pretty intense, and they're like,
I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, and then it's like, then it got really competitive because we were like, how many times can I go up without throwing up?
Oh my gosh.
So that was like, but it was crazy.
It became a game.
Oh yeah, because he's like, like when you barrel roll. Yeah. He's like, that's when you really feel the G-force, or like you dive down, like when like the plane like dives down, you're like forcing gravity.
Yeah, when you're going up and when you're going down, any fast change of direction, it's an impact on the body.
Exactly. So he's like swerving and like all this like crazy maneuvering. You're like, how do
because going straight, if you just continued going straight, the force you'd be feeling, eventually your body would just catch up to it. Yeah. Right? And so then the pressure wouldn't feel as big. But as soon as you turn right, it's like,
yeah, right.
My body.
So they were saying how like a lot of like the movements in the plane are like really extreme, and like you can see it in like in their face.
Yeah,
like the rippling in the cheeks.
The ripple.
Like,
well, not only that, like it pushes you to a point where like it's like straight blood rush. So like you see a vein popping out.
Oh, yeah, I know, but like that's what they were saying, and that was like that's crazy. Like there are limitations to like what humans can do.
Yeah,
I think we gotta tap out at one point.
I mean, we're still trying to go faster.
I don't know why we want to go faster.
Because we want to be able to explore
the universe.
The universe.
I think it's the galaxy.
The galaxy. Oh yeah, because like see the problem with moving so fast is that like when it to stop.
Yeah.
The problem is stopping. We can put as much force as we want to go forward.
Yeah.
But the problem will be stopping.
What if you put a thruster on the front side of it to stop?
Yes. Okay. But the speed you'd be going at, you'd have to slow down the plane so slow. Like you'd start at like 1 kilometer per hour for 1 hour, 2 kilometers per hour for 2 hours. Just to slow it down, because an instant stop of the plane is too much. Your body would literally just implode. Because it'd be like pressure against your chest.
So you mean to tell me when people like, instant. You know, like when they like warp in like Star Trek or like when they like enter hyperspace in Star Wars, they can't actually do that in real life? It would kill us.
It would kill us.
It would kill us.
It'd kill us. You just implode.
You just implode?
Because an object in motion wants to stay in motion, right? So if you're...
So I'd just be smeared against the windshield.
Yeah, you'd just be smeared against... There would be no seatbelt left to hold you.
Wait, so you mean the windshield would just be gone because I'd just go right through it?
Yeah, you'd go right through it.
What if I'm not strong enough to go right through it? What if like it's a really thick layered glass?
Either that or it'd be like you swatting a fly on
wow.
on a windshield.
That's great.
Depending how strong the glass is.
That's okay.
And if you're going that speed, the glass must be pretty strong.
What is it? It's like there's this like meme going around on, I think it's on Twitter, where people are like, you know, atoms never touch each other. So technically I've never touched anything. Therefore, I've never been touched in the heart by anybody. And it's like, I'm a cold-hearted being. But it's like this whole thing of like realization where it's like, atoms never touch each other. So technically, I've never touched anything.
I mean, but particles touch each other.
I know, but atoms don't, right?
I know.
But it's like you go breaking it down more, right? It's like, so technically, I've never touched anything.
Just don't break the atoms apart.
I mean, that's dangerous. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that here.
We don't do that here. This is a Minecraft Christian server. I'm just joking.
What is Minecraft have to do with any of this?
It'd be cool if you could build an atom bomb in Minecraft.
Nah, man. No.
Imagine the pranks you could pull.
It'd be so annoying.
It'd just be half the world. It'd be like, here, I have a present.
But if it's infinite.
I know, but like half your map. Like, let's say you built.
Like I put it in the middle. And then there's like a giant, like you open up the map and it's just a mushroom.
It wouldn't even just, no, you open up the map and it just looked like a layer of just rock. Just a bunch of stone. For like that entire map.
That'd be horrible.
It'd be like an extreme hills biome.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah,
we were talking about G's.
Is it next week our last episode?
Next week is, it will be our last episode of the year. Yeah, that'll be our wrap up. Our first episode of the year. Well, our next episode will be on Christmas.
Yeah, on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
We are gonna. I don't know when we're gonna record that yet. We haven't discussed that. We'll discuss it after, but it'll be interesting, because I don't think anybody is gonna listen to us on Christmas Day.
Yeah, and the New Year's.
I'm expecting. New
Year's Day is
also on New Year's, so I'm expecting next episode and the following episode to do terribly.
Yeah.
Also, I think we should pick up our game on getting guests the following year, because this year the pandemic really just destroyed everything. Just destroyed our plans for the podcast as a whole.
Yeah.
Like we had like great visions and great ideas.
Great visions? You had visions?
No, we had a great vision.
That's a little intense. I was dreaming.
I mean, we had great ideas for the direction we wanted the podcast to go, but because we couldn't execute any, all that was put on hold.
Yeah.
Like I've said this, I don't know how many times. So whenever we have a guest over, I'm like, everything's on hold.
See, now we've gotten to like a stage where it's just infinite planning.
Yeah, we're planning for when the pandemic's over.
We're planning for when the pandemic's over, so that way by the time the pandemic's over, we have like at least 2 years of work to get done.
There's so much stuff, but like I think the other thing too is like we are slowly like we have come to the realization that like our podcast is growing
even if we don't want it to, we're like, okay, we need you to put a hold on that. We're gonna put a pin in it just for now.
From our podcast growing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
it's good to still build like a higher platform.
Yeah,
but like we're not doing anything else, right?
I know. The other thing too is like it's because like we can't really go out. We can't like
it's not like I'm coming home from school and telling you the story of the bus. Where like people were trying to fight each other.
Yeah, I can't. I have no. Like I have stories to share, but like they're so like from like years back and stuff like that where.
What can I have a reminiscing?
What is unless we have like a guest on or something like that? Yeah. Like it triggers that memory. Like
yeah, and this is like moment, I just remember that time.
Right. So there are things like that help, but other than that, like in my day-to-day life, I'm literally in my room all day, job searching.
Like the greatest thing
working on side projects or like
the greatest thing that happened in my life today was I killed a bug. That's the most exciting. That was the highlight.
That's depressing.
Yeah, that's depressing. I killed the bug.
But in great news, there's good news. Great strides coming forward. The vaccines are coming out. They're being approved by a bunch of people, and other governments are approving them. So I mean, hopefully next year, this time, it won't be so bad.
May I state some of the problems that are happening with this vaccine?
What
is that? It's been rushed. Okay. That's the first part.
Okay.
And the second part is a lot of people aren't going to take it for like the first 2 years because they want to see long-term outcomes of such vaccine.
I'm first in line, bro. I'm out here.
Honestly, like I agree with like these people that are saying like, it was rushed.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, like there are certain enzymes in your body that could literally just destroy you, but like it's not going to affect that, right?
But I mean, there are like the other thing too is like people were saying like people are dying from it.
Yeah.
But then there's like a whole other side of it where like when they were doing these trials, so when they're doing like for this example in the States, they were doing trials, certain people died, but we were saying, oh, it's the vaccine. Mm-hmm. But then I was watching this YouTube video where the guy goes, no, you guys have to understand that in the trials, people are still affected by other things in the world.
Yeah.
It's not like they're isolated. Like this one guy got an allergic reaction to some other unrelated thing and he died from that.
Yeah, and people are just like, now people who are allergic can't take the vaccine.
Yeah, and I was like, what? And then he's like, he reads sections out of like the report. Yeah. And I was like, this is insane. Like, how did we get to this point where literally everything scares us?
No, I know.
But
see, and like the thing is with vaccines is that it's very common for like you to like show symptoms of sickness after vaccine, but that's because you're putting something external into your body.
Yeah, I mean, like that's.
I mean, that happens with smoking.
I mean, the other thing too is like people have started asking each other, what are you gonna do when the pandemic's over?
Also, like for example, the flu shot. The flu shot's a great example. People are just like, oh, I got the flu from the flu shot. You don't get the flu from the flu shot. If you had a prior sickness, like the common cold, the effects of the flu shot could enhance your cold. Therefore, you're showing more symptoms. Not that you get the flu.
I mean, can I finish explaining? Yeah. Okay, so people have also been asking, like, what are you going to do once COVID's over? My simple response now is I'll probably meet up with my friends and give them all a hug. Yeah. Everybody's like, that sounds about right. Yeah, I'm like, I just need like a hug people. Like, I'm like, I hug my family, but like, let's be real. Like, I need to hug other people. Yeah. Like, it's really funny because, like, I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, that's so bizarre. Like, I'm in this world now where like, hugging people is just like
it's like a crime.
Yeah, but like we've had those instances already where we run into a friend of yours and she like tried to walk in for the hug and we both stepped back and we're like, wait, what are we doing?
Yeah, she was like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm stepping back, step away.
Don't get too close.
I don't follow this 2 meters thing. I follow 6 meter rule.
Is it 6 feet?
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's
6 feet 2 meters.
Yeah, I know. I just want to. Anyway, but it's one of those things where I've become so like adjusted to it like not being close to people, not touching people. I'm like, if I wanted to be any more self-isolating than I already am,
Just go to space.
I've peaked. I've peaked already.
Yeah.
Like I am full on. Like I'm entering like loner status. Like,
I mean, there's still one further step you could take.
Well, like,
which is total isolation.
Well, like,
no family, now no friends. Cut the Wi-Fi.
Well, like
that is the one step further.
Well,
but
like,
who in the world's gonna go that far?
Well, the other thing too is like I've stopped messaging my friends.
Yeah.
Like that are like close to me within the city because I can just watch their stories, see that they're okay.
Yeah.
Because these people don't stop posting on their story, which is always interesting. So like I never have to text somebody, see how they're doing.
Yeah.
And there's a few people who like went to school with me who like will post updates. Like recently was a friend of mine, his birthday, and then our friend, she's like in Montreal, she's working and she does like all this stuff, and she posts like stuff on her like. So I know how they're doing, so I don't have to like physically interact with them because I mean they don't know how I'm doing, but I know how they're doing.
But you know how they're doing, and so you're like, oh, they're good.
Yeah, and that comforts me. Like I have friends who like post stuff or like they got a dog or whatever. Like
because they were alone.
No, I mean I can like I see like that they're living life and they're like being safe, of course. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like I'm not posting anything. Like the only things I'm posting are like randomly like look at the clouds. Look at these clouds. Take a picture. Like every now and then I'll walk outside like 5 feet, look at the sky, and take a picture.
It's just
a
guarantee to everybody you know that you're still alive.
Yeah, I'm like
like I'm looking at a cloud.
Like what is it? I have some friends I haven't messaged in months.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to like re-engage the conversation because I have nothing to talk about.
I said last episode I was gonna message some people. I haven't done that, so you know what? After this,
you're gonna go message all those people.
I'm just gonna send one mass DM.
I'm just gonna go through it and be like, hey. Just send everybody.
And then just to throw them off guard, I'm gonna be like, hola. And like, it'll be that one like konnichiwa, and then just keep going. that one person who receives konnichiwa will be like, aren't you like Mexican?
They'll be like, you're in Japan? What are you doing over there?
They're gonna be like, did you forget English?
Like what happened? No, like I don't know. I think that there are. Like, after a certain amount of time, like, not physically seeing the person, like, it's normal for the conversation, like, dwindle away, right?
Yeah.
Like, the other thing, too, is, like, I have friends who I can go years without seeing.
Yeah.
Like, literally years. We won't interact, we won't text, or nothing. Yeah. But I'll run back into them, and it's like we've been bros.
It's like you've been friends and
forever.
Nothing's happened.
Like, it never stopped. Like, it just kept going, which is so crazy to me. But then there are those people where you stop being friends with them, and then you see them in public, and they don't make eye contact.
Yeah.
They're trying not to make eye contact.
They're like ceiling, floor, wall.
You know? In Georgia. Anyway, but you know, like it's one of those like those things where I don't know why we do this as people.
Yeah.
Like we try to ignore each other, but we clearly know each other. And we're going through this weird awkward dance of like I haven't talked to you for 6 months, therefore I can't interact with you anymore. But it's like, why would I, you know, like, and then there was people who like, you know, you want to be left alone? I can't remember. This one time I ran into somebody and I sat down at the back of the bus. I fell asleep. I opened my eyes and she was sitting right across from me. I fell asleep and I opened my eyes like, oh, hey. And she goes, hey. And I go,
were you just standing
I'm like, how long have you been sitting there? She's like, I don't know. I've been on the bus for like, I had been on the bus for like over 20 stops. She's like, I've been on the bus for like, I think 15 stops. That means 5 stops after I got on the bus, she got on the bus. In other words, she had sat there while me sleeping like for at least half an hour. And I was like, oh my, I'm so sorry. And she goes, no, it's okay. Like, she's like, I was tempted to wake you at one point so we could talk, but I'm like, poor guy's probably exhausted. That's why I passed out on the bus. I'm like, yeah, I've been getting like, at the time, like I was still in school, so I like just passed out. And we started talking. She's telling me how she was like moving to Spain and all this. Like, she'd be really cool to have on the podcast, actually. She's someone I should get on the podcast. I'll reach out.
Reach out.
But it's
be one of those hellos. Yeah. Or that random konnichiwa.
Yeah. Anyway, but it was really interesting to go through all of that. Like how, you know, like, and she was someone I worked with, and like when I was younger, when I was in high school and like in the summertime when I worked. Yeah. But looking at it now, it's like those kinds of interactions are like welcome, but like it was like the whole situation was just awkward.
Yeah.
But at the same,
it's like you kind of just watched me sleep for like a.
Well, no, she was like on her phone the whole time, but it was like.
Yeah, but I know, but like still, you know.
Actually, I remember which is interesting. Was like on our way home, like when we'd be on the bus.
Yeah.
You get on the bus and all the kids are super loud, like making all the noise. Yeah. And then because there's another high school.
Yeah.
Like close to the high school we went to, then there's another like, you know, there's that bus stop. would lead to another high school, and then like further down, like I think another 4 or 6 stops, there would be another bus stop to pick up more students.
Yeah.
Those students were always the loudest, the third bus stop students.
Yeah.
Those kids were insanely loud. And I remember this one time, one of them said something, and I like jumped in. I'm like, do you even know what you're talking about? And they all turn and look at me like I'm like this stranger. And I tell them, they're like, wait, who are you?
Yeah.
Who you think you are? And then I'm like, I'm just some kid who goes to another high school that's like literally in the area.
Yeah.
And then they all turn and look at me and they go, oh, you're one of them. And then I go, I'm one of who? And they're like, you're one of them. I'm like, I'm one of nobody. I'm just
a guy.
I'm like, I'm just trying to go home, and you guys are talking about crazy stuff. Like,
you guys should be careful of what you speak.
No, and then I'm like, and at the time I was like in grade 12.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I was talking to a bunch of 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
At which one I'm like, oh, so y'all really don't know anything about life.
Yeah, literally don't know anything about life.
And then I
mean, like, they have, maybe 1 or 2 of them may have a concept.
Yeah, so we were talking, and then I'm like, and then afterwards, I became friends with one of the girls on the bus, and then every time she's like, "Hey, it's you," I'm like, "Yeah, it's you." We never learned each other's names.
That's funny.
And then I remember this one time I was after school, and I walked into the library because I was dropping off some books.
Yeah.
Because across the parking lot from our high school, there was like a public library.
Yeah.
And she was in there. I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And she goes, "I'm like, school doesn't end for you for like another 10 minutes." And she goes, "Yeah." She's like, "I just had to."
School had a gas leak.
She's like, "No." She's like, "I had to." That doesn't happen again. She's like, "I had to like return some books." She's like, "And also like I have a spare last class like as of this semester because this semester had to change." I'm like, "Oh, cool." She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "And also like this is the closest library like within the area, so I just figured I'd come here." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then everybody was looking at me because I'm talking to this complete stranger, who nobody knows, and I'm like, "We should jump on a bus and go home." She goes. Right, and then we jump on a bus and we're just talking the whole time. Then the funny thing too is like she would get off
2 stops.
No, 4 stops after me.
4 stops after you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because she lived in like these. She lives in these apartments that are like 4 stops away from it. I think it's 5 or 6 stops. Anyway, but that was always interesting because of that. So,
but
here for reference, the church.
Yeah.
The church down there.
Yeah.
The buildings.
Yes.
There.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So,
I thought for some reason I thought some other building.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it was interesting, and then and the only reason I figured this out was because one time I had to go to Shoppers I think I had to go like buy milk or something on my way home.
Yeah, and she stayed on the bus.
And then she's like, "Why are you?" And then she got off with me, and then she told me like how far she. I'm like, "Oh, so you're really close?" And she goes, "Yeah." She's like, "You're also really close." I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "How come we've never like run into each other any other time?" I'm like, because I don't go out. Yeah. I'm literally indoors all the time. Like, I live indoors.
No, like, especially like where we live, it's such a like closed, secretive area.
Yeah. And
it's like a nice area too. So I'll just randomly be like, oh, I saw you the other day and like shopping at the store, and they'll be like, what? I'm like, I didn't see you. And I'm like, well, you were there. And they're just like, why didn't you say hi? Because I just saw you and I minded my own business.
I minded my own business. That's like the logical answer. It's like, I was told, my mama told me not to talk to strangers, but we go to class together, so you're a stranger.
Exactly. I don't know you outside of class. So,
but you know me by name. So that means nothing.
If I literally walked over to a stranger and went, "Hi, I'm Victor," and they're like, "Hi, I'm Jordan," it would have been like,
we're no longer strangers.
We're no longer strangers. That's not how it works. We're still strangers.
But look, okay, here's the thing. Realistically, we're all still strangers.
Are we though?
Yeah, I mean, like, you never truly know someone.
I know me.
I mean, like,
I'm someone? Are you saying I'm lesser than?
No, I mean, like...
I know you.
No, I mean,
but like, I don't know you 100%. I know, like, 95% of you.
Okay, but for example, a best friend.
Okay.
You can know them fairly well. You know their favorite color, their favorite music, all of them. But when push comes to shove, you don't know their emotional reaction to certain things. Like, for example...
in a state of crisis.
A family member dying. You don't know if that'll, like, what ramifications that could have. Like, say, a father or a mother passing away, the kind of emotional reaction they could have. That could also lead to, like, further anxiety, depression.
Yeah.
Maybe, right? It could destroy their entire lives, right?
Yeah.
You don't know that initial response, right? Mm-hmm. So... that's the thing. You never truly know somebody until, they're put in that critical situation and you're there with them to witness that situation.
Yeah.
Other than that, you don't know anybody. Like, you don't...
So what you're telling me right now is that I know my best friend? Because he's gone through like a situation like this before.
I mean, I guess, but you weren't at like the funeral with him. You weren't.
No, of course not.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, if you're there to witness all of these things,
oh yeah,
you get a deeper understanding of them, but also the family in which they are a part of.
Okay, yeah, but knowing them and knowing the family is something else.
No, I know, but when you know that specific part, right? Like, every friend that we have, once they meet our family, they go, "Oh, it all makes sense now, bro.
Yeah.
I get you."
Yeah.
Because our family and our identity is founded in that, right? We identify as, Mexican, Salvadorian, Canadian, right? Like, because of our foundation and our roots, right? But people don't understand why we identify like that is until they come home and they meet our family.
And they're just like, I see it on the walls.
No, but they get it, right? They
honestly, if I just want people to know me, I'm going to just take pictures of my living room. Send it to them. This is who I am.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, like, they're able to understand and grasp better at our personality and why we're like, right?
Because, like, meeting somebody at their home is very personal.
Yeah.
Because you're bringing them into your safe space. Here, there will be no judgment.
I'm going to be honest with you. My room is my safe space. Okay. The only part in the house. That and, yeah.
The bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
That's the safest place.
Shut the door.
I mean, if there's no privacy there, then you have no social, like, you're I don't know who you are.
Anyway, yeah, but that's what I'm trying to get at, right? Like, so there are certain things that you can never truly know. The other thing too is, like, I think that the way that we go about, just in society in general, like, we're not supposed to talk to people we don't know.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go talk.
If I need to,
I mean, we've done it on the podcast.
I know, but like,
total strangers.
I mean, but if we want to, like, meet somebody new, like, there has to be, like, a certain moment or certain place. Like, I know, like, for example, you're going to start college soon.
Yes.
When you go to college, I've already explained what to do, but
I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take a pie and I'm going to bring a bunch of plates.
You can't do that. Why not? That's too much.
How is that too much?
The teacher kicked you out.
I gave a slice of pie to my teacher.
Well, you don't have enough pie for, like, 75 students.
I'll bring more pies.
Yeah, that's expensive.
It's worth it.
No, it's not. So anyway,
I'll be known as the guy who served pie.
I don't want to be known as that guy. But it's an expensive thing to live up. Anyway, but there are certain things, right? Like, you will meet these people because of circumstance, right? Like, the only way you will befriend these people, and 95% of them are there. Like, they'll be your friend, but just for that moment in time.
Yeah, just for that class.
Once it ends, that's it. It's over. We have our fun.
Sever ties.
Yeah. Right, so it's very.
That's how it is right now in, like, my online classes.
Yeah,
that's exactly how it is. We, like, form a Discord. Maybe we'll talk for like 2 hours after class.
Yeah,
but after that, it's like, boom, we're done. We severed our ties. We've done our job. And, like, the discussion wasn't even about our personal lives. It was just like about the material.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
no,
okay,
but I mean, like, after the class ends, right? So, like, once the class ends.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
You'll probably never message these people ever again.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you're, like, really bored or something, and you I don't know.
Just have nothing else better to do.
Yeah. There's always that one guy in the group chat.
It's like, sup?
Yeah. There's always that one guy in the group chat. But, like, I personally think it's interesting how we as society, we move on and we carry on with our lives and all that jazz.
Well, I mean, like, for like us right now,
since
it's online and we don't really see our faces, there's no like attachment.
There's no emotional attachment.
Yeah, there's no emotional attachment that develops. So it's not like, I'm gonna miss you, see, hopefully I get another class with you. It's just like, okay, you were helpful to me. You were an asset. You were an asset to me. That guy in the corner there, he was kind of a liability, but, like, still.
That guy in the corner, he did no work.
Like, he helped. He didn't participate at all. He was just kind of sitting here listening to all the answers. But yeah.
I was that guy.
I wasn't. I'm not that guy.
Actually, it wasn't.
I'm that guy who won't talk unless I'm 100% certain
of
my answer. Not unless it's in class. If it's in class, I will bleep out an answer even if it's wrong. You know why? Because that will engage me to learn from it.
I only ever talk in class if I'm asked to talk. Like, if someone be like, "You, what do you think?" I'll be like, well, the thing is,
I hate when teachers call on students. So it is like my worst nightmare. That is my greatest fear to be called on. Because, like, there are times where I know the answer, I'm raising my hand, and for the one question that I don't know the answer to, teacher will be like, "Victor, what's the answer?" And I'm be like, I just raised my hand like 5 other times, and you chose now.
That I don't know to ask me the question.
It's not like you can just put me on hold. Like, that's not how it works.
He put you on hold.
Like, you know.
That's the true secret.
I don't think that should be allowed.
Why?
Because, like, I mean, like, it makes sure, like, the student isn't engaged,
Yeah.
right? But it can also be a moment of embarrassment for the student, right?
I suppose.
Like, if it happens reoccurring,
Yeah.
right now, it can make the student feel like they dread it. Not that it's happened to me, but, like, it's happened to me enough times where, like, you know, like, it puts you in a position like, oh, I feel stupid right now because the answer was really simple.
I remember this one time I asked a teacher something, and she just gave me this look like, you're an idiot. Yeah. And I never asked her a question again. Actually, matter of fact, I left the class. I switched out of her class. Because I'm like, I never want to feel like that again. I'm out.
Yeah.
But I think it was in high school when that happened. But there are times like that where stuff like that happens. But I mean, at the same time, like, they're trying to make sure you know the material, everybody else knows the material. Yeah. And, like, they can't have everybody
answer. If I don't understand...
No, but I mean, like, they can't have everybody answer the same question. When someone gives out the answer, that's it. It's over.
It's over. It's like, yeah.
Unless, of course, like, they gave a half answer and then they continue looking for the rest of the answer.
I tend to do that. I'll be like, it'll be this part. And they'll be like, okay, does anybody else want to help Victor out? And I'll be like, yes, move away from me. I actually knew the answer. I just got really lazy from talking. I've actually done that a few times.
Unbelievable. I can't believe you've done that. I think...
Just throw it on somebody else. I'm like, so you do this and you do this. And then I'll literally pause and be like, yeah.
I think we should wrap up.
We're going to wrap up?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. It's been Two Latin Brothers Podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Everything's always in the description, whether it be up, down, left, or right. Make sure to follow our Instagram and our Twitter.
That Victor still doesn't use.
I still don't use.
We have no followers.
I will use it in the future. Potentially. Maybe in the new year. Who knows?
We'll tweet out Happy New Year's, guys. We made it. We didn't die.
We made it. We didn't die. We're living.
Sure.
We're making it.
Whatever.
Day by day.
Whatever.
You know, make sure you share, subscribe, follow if you're on, you know, Spotify. Make sure to share with everybody. You know, just like literally everybody. That hobo outside your house. Walk out there, wear a mask, play the play button, leave it there for a bit. Hope he doesn't steal it.
Gets like a wireless speaker.
Honestly, like, share with everybody. Share with your grandma. Share with your rooster. Share with your donkey.
I haven't checked the analytics in like a quick minute.
Well, they don't need to know the analytics.
Well, I mean, I'm wondering if Ireland is still at the top, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
they were
shout out to Ireland, because we always do this. You know, Ireland's been like, listening.
They're still in third place, man. And America, well, I don't know if you guys saw our Spotify wrap up.
Yeah.
America is our biggest listener.
Like, how did this happen?
We got 10 extra countries now listening to us.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that Ireland, for whatever reason, is still like up there. They're up there.
Yeah, you know? They're really focused.
I don't know.
I feel like there's just some guy who's just like, yo, they be calling me out. I'm gonna just keep playing this.
No, I don't know. It makes no. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, right? Because like,
how did it get there?
It's not that how did it get there. It's more like it used to be Canada, America, then Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Those were the top 3.
Yeah.
Because I mean we're half line, right? So that makes sense. But the thing is like now it's like U.S., Canada, and then Ireland, and Mexico's like 5th on the list. I'm like, how did this happen?
Never know.
I don't know.
It's just crazy how it travels.
Actually, you know what? Mexico is now 6th on the list.
Mexico's 6th on the list.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it's understandable why Mexico's going down. It's because we don't really talk.
Actually, they're 8th on the list.
Okay, well, we don't speak that much Spanish.
Okay, look, so it goes. Okay, I'm gonna read you off the list: U.S., Canada, Ireland, Philippines, Morocco, Russia, India, and then Mexico.
Okay.
You know, we gotta tap into that Indian market.
Oh my gosh.
The untapped market.
The untapped market. I mean, look what T-Series was able to accomplish. Go subscribe to go subscribe to PewDiePie.
It's a little late for that.
I don't care. Still go subscribe.
It's too late for that.
Subscribe.
Anyway,
this has been Two Latin Brothers Podcast, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Bye.